Eric, the message said that I only need to use my fart phone.
What?
My smartphone, and then I put phone and smart together and I got fart. Wow, okay. Things are going really well for me.
In this episode, lots of people look at us.
Lots of people looking at me. Not really sure why.
Katie ranks princesses.
We are at Daisy, and then there's Princess Peach, and then there's Birdo, and we are far from Birdo. Do you remember when this was the action?
It is quite basic.
Daisy be basic.
It is basic. And we get punched in the nuts.
Then we got punched in the nuts while we were trying to enjoy our omurice. Anywho, for avid viewers, you might think that we've come back to one of our little hometowns here in Tokyo. We are in Asakusa, and we used to live in the apartment building directly behind us. You'll see the golden turd, and our apartment building was right behind that. We loved living in this area. It was during COVID, and nobody else was here, and it was our own little enchanting place without tourists. But we have since moved, so you might be wondering, why'd you come back? You just want to see your old apartment? No. There's something here that has never been here before. This is the Asakusa Puzzle Adventure, and it's run by the same people who do the Tokyo Mysteries, the Tokyo Metro Mysteries. And we are always dying to do the Metro Mysteries whenever they're around, and it turns out that this has been going on probably for almost a year now, and we haven't wound up over here in Asakusa doing it. So we've got ourselves our puzzle kit, and we are going to go and dissect it at one of the restaurants around here. Do you know where you want to eat?
No.
Me either. We've played many of these games. They are city games where you go around and solve puzzles. The major one that happens here in Tokyo is the Metro Mysteries, and that takes you along so many Metro Mystery lines, and you go to different stations, you solve puzzles, and then you keep going until you get to the end. This one is location specific, so we won't be riding the trains all day. We'll be hanging out in Asakusa, which is like a little hometown for us, so we're going to be able to investigate and solve puzzles in our backyard or like in our old backyard. So it sounds really exciting. We've come to Burger King as a means to an end to get a table and some air conditioning. It is summer and it is kicking off hot here in Japan, like super, super hot. So we've got the right tools to start our adventure, and the adventure starts with dissecting all the paperwork. There's a poetry slip. What? All right, big brain time.
So the basic idea with these is that you use this packet in very interesting ways that I'm sure we'll be able to show as they come along to solve little puzzles, to figure out where to go next, to then get clues to solve the puzzle to go to the next place. And then there is an end point of some sort, and they're always different. That is just the completion of the game. Like, you don't get a prize or anything at the end, you just get the completion feeling. And sometimes you get to like scan a QR code and it'll like show you a little animation like, hey, you did a good job, you're smart. Another interesting note about these is they do them in Japanese and sometimes, but not always, English. We've chosen the English one because, to be completely real with you, these things are kind of difficult, even in your native language. So to do them also in Japanese would be another level of complexity, and we have done them in Japanese in the past, but only when there's a Japanese speaker present, like a native Japanese speaker present. Because it's not always just like the types of puzzles that you would be able to solve just from the knowledge that you're pulling out of this. Sometimes they use like cultural references or like little games and stuff that you would never have encountered had you not grown up in Japan. So they do a pretty good job of translating it all into English and making the same system work, which is astonishing when you have both of them and you see them, oh, this is how they made this puzzle work in English and this one in Japanese, because like there'll be like wordplay and stuff that they have to make work. It's really, really astonishing how well they get made. The first step is to really, really dive into the materials and dissect it without giving yourself too many spoilers. So that's what Katie is working on right now, is just understanding what we have to work with and kind of getting an idea of, because we're using a little bit of past knowledge, we've seen these games before, just get kind of an idea of what it is that maybe we're going to have to rip apart and line up and put in different ways.
I've already jumped in. Eric was doing his explanation video while I couldn't wait to find out what was going on inside of this packet. Over here, it's just asking you, like, do you have all the things you need to get started? Here, it's giving you some lure about the adventure you're about to go on. A little bit more lure here as well. This is talking to you about how to be a good person in this area. Number one, you should spend money here. And number two, don't mess with people when you're taking photos. And that's actually a special thing with this particular game. You will be taking photos, and I don't know how that's gonna work out. I'm quite interested to see how us taking pictures is something that can solve a puzzle. Doesn't make sense to me now. But another thing that's also new for this type of game, and we've never done before, there's a web chat where we're gonna talk to some dude named 1010. The booklet says to go to the web chat and type in begin. From this point, we have no idea what it's going to say or do. This is all very, very new. Oh dang, that's a lot of messages from 1010. 1010 is all up in our grill. All right, he introduces himself. It's a great place here in Asakusa for lots of things. It's a bustling place. Once you're ready, send ready in the chat. I thought begin meant that I was ready. All right, I'm typing ready. To make the most of your trip, I plan to also show you the hidden sides of Asakusa. Don't worry about the details, just leave it to me. I've thoroughly prepared all the puzzles you'll be solving today. But of course, if there's something you want to eat or blah, 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 spend money, spend money, spend money. Let's get our adventure started. First, let's head to the starting point. It's not Burger King. Please reply with the location where you bought your game kit so I can give you directions to the starting point.
The first mystery is done.
Yeah. And it says directions to Kaminarimon. So please reply with the location. I know the location. It was the Asakusa real escape room.
I guess you just type that in and it figures it out. I don't know.
But these directions say to, okay, so either type A, B, or C. So it's giving me options. That's good. Where are you starting from the game? You could put in other locations. So it knows you may have moved away from the location where you started. But I'll just
Burger King. Which one's Burger King?
C.
Is it really?
No.
Oh.
Okay. So then from there, it really just walks you through how to get to the place.
Cool. Okay, so that gets us to a starting point. So the first mystery is just using the app.
Yes.
All right.
The first mystery is the app.
So the back of the thing says this is going to take 3 to 4 hours.
All right.
What time is it right now?
Right now, it is 12:51.
Do you think we'll finish this in 3 to 4 hours?
I have faith in us, but I also know that we take our time most of the time when we do these, but it is very hot, so that might change how vigorously we do this.
We're a bit slow though.
Yeah.
However, we do have a bit of an advantage because we know the area, and I think this English version of this is going to be designed specifically for tourists who are not familiar with the area.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So we kind of have a leg up.
Yeah,
because
we do
have
to a
lived
degree.
Here. And I can explain. So 1010 is currently guiding us from the location where we picked up the kit. And the first stop that he has you go to, which we didn't go to because we're at the Burger King, the first stop is at a very big bridge over here called Azumabashi. And on the bridge, it says that you're crossing the Sumida River. The first thing you needed to type in was Sumida. I didn't have to go there to find that out because I used to live next to it. So I could just type that in. And now 1010 is telling us that we should come to this red structure, stand with it at our back, and find the bar with red letters. And that's Kamiya Bar. Kamiya Bar is an interesting little place. You can get some fun booze there. I wouldn't necessarily recommend eating there, but we did a couple times. It has a very lifelessness inside. But their brand Denki is pretty fun. If you've never had their booze, I would say probably go over there. Not sponsored by Kamiya Bar, just like fun things.
Isn't it the first bar in Japan or something like that?
Oh yeah, I bet you 1010's gonna tell us that. Let's find out what 1010 has to say instead of my own feelings. I don't know how to get back to 1010. Found him. Okay, so Kamiya. correct. This is Kamiya Bar, and it's actually known as Japan's first bar. Visited by many celebrities, it's well loved as a symbol of Asakusa. I kind of agree. It looks cool. We're getting closer to the symbol of Asakusa. Continue going straight in the direction you were going and cross the large intersection here. Pass through the shopping area, and on your left you'll eventually see a tall building covered with wood and glass, which we both know this is the visitor center. That building is Asakusa something Tourist Information Center. Asakusa Kaminari?
Oh, maybe it's Kaminarimon?
Something?
Oh, it's like a blank. Oh,
yeah,
I see.
so there's a blank, and I actually don't know what's in that blank. So it is the visitor center, but the word that's missing from the blank is culture, and I never even knew that that was there. So the Asakusa Culture Tourist Information Center. And so I'm gonna plug that into the 1010 chat and see what we get. Culture. After crossing the street, you will be able to see a giant gate with huge lanterns suspended in the middle. This is known as Asakusa's symbol, Kaminarimon. And here's another symbol of Sweet Tokyo. Why they got trikes now? Interesting. Sorry. Might as well look at it while it's making it so we can't hear. Why don't we get closer? So we're gonna go across the street, and then I've got to type in reached Kaminarimon. So I'll do that as we cross.
Kaminarimon is a gate that is super famous in Japan. It's one of the most touristed areas of the entire country. And as you can see, it's behind us. It's got a big lantern, and it's just a very iconic symbol. So that is what we just crossed the street to come to.
And now we're supposed to take a commemorative picture of ourselves with it. I don't know if we'll be sending it to 1010, but he's asked me to type in checked once we take our picture. So
are they using like some sort of AI thing to like figure out like what is going on here? How's this gonna work?
We took our commemorative picture with us in it, typed in checked, and now 1010's like, could you just take one without you guys? I think he's not into us. He just might not like us very much. So I have to take a picture of the structure by itself, and he did ask me to send it in the chat. So there must be some sort of interesting function that's gonna be able to read that photo. What a great photo. This is how we'll continue with the adventure, by taking lots of photos of Asakusa. Now, here's a puzzle related to Kaminarimon. You need to look at the gate to solve it. And it's actually sent me an image of what we're working with. And I think I just having gone through the kit, I think I understand what I'm supposed to do with it. Now I have to say, so far, I don't feel like we've been doing much puzzling. I feel like a lot of hand holding has been done by 1010, and they are teaching a new mechanic that is sending in pictures and things like that. So I understand we might need to be told what to do, but we haven't really done any puzzles yet. I don't feel like I'm really using my brain. I'm just following instructions. So hopefully we'll be doing some puzzles. We have sent in the picture of the backside of Kaminarimon, and we got that verified by 1010, and now he has sent us 2 locations that we're going to head to get some clues. And hopefully when we get to those locations, there will be some puzzles.
Dude, it's kind of wild that they've got you like doing a mystery in this huge crowd of people.
Yes. I definitely feel JAMA, which means you're in the way. And I feel like my focus is not to go with the flow. My focus is on everything but that. So I'm sure many people are like, whoa, what's she doing? She just isn't even aware. So, gotta focus here. You know how they have that phrase, eye candy? Much like this.
Wait, what? The cat? What?
There's also nose candy up in this place. Like every foot you're smelling something different, like some sort of fried food, some sort of sweets. Like one of the appeals of walking through a Asakusa area is just everywhere is something kind of delicious or weird or fun. So a lot of eye candy, a lot of nose candy. 1010 provided us with a map with 2 locations. We've come to destination 1. What happened here is we took a picture of this lantern and sent it to 1010. 1010 has now sent us a clue, and it does look like it has a puzzle, but we have to go to one more destination to get the other clue. So we're gonna make some more photos. There are samples. You can have it if you want. What do you think
Go.
it is?
What is it? I've had it before.
That's a very fun game. Go and get samples and then just feed them to people and ask them, what do you think that was?
It's like a nut or something?
Yeah, I think it's a
macadamia nut, yeah.
Macadamia nut with caramel on it.
It's all right.
Pro tip about Asakusa is that you have the main thoroughfare heading from Kaminarimon to the temple, to the larger structure. That main thoroughfare is totally crowded, but on either side of it you have these little alleyways that are, number one, less crowded, and number two, have a bathroom. You can find bathrooms along these little routes. Along with the good smells, there are some really bad smells here. Like right now I feel like
She says that when I get close?
Yeah. Right now I feel like I'm sitting in moldy cheese. That's what it smells like.
My commentary on what's going on with this game so far, and we're comparing this to previous ones where the phone didn't get involved at all in previous games. I think it's kind of lame. They just got you walking around looking at your phone.
Like, one of the things that we do for these games are exciting is because it gets us interacting with each other in a challenging basis and doesn't have us looking at our phone all the time. Like, right now, I'm just like, I haven't even talked to you.
Yeah.
And everything is on my phone in little pictures. You don't get to see it.
And it's a tremendous amount of text dump that's happening. And I know that they're trying to kind of give you ideas of, it's like they're trying to make it a tour.
Yeah.
Like, here's learn about Asakusa a little bit. Here's some things. I don't think that's a terrible idea, but I really think that just, I don't know, man. I'm tired of my phone. Like, I go outside and I do stuff because I don't want to, like, be on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, that's 2025. And here we are, like, paying to play a game that requires you to just walk around and stare at your phone.
Yeah.
And there's something about this. It's a bit of a bummer. So I'm hoping that there are materials here, so something is going to happen. But I'm not sure when that's going to start happening. So far, you've taken a lot of good pictures, I guess.
No.
Sure.
Even the one I just took was like with reflections on a window. It was not a good photo.
Does it smell better over there now?
It looks better now.
Oh, man.
Look at this mofo. I'm not comparing it to you. But this is a pretty sweet bench. And there are like no benches in all of Tokyo, so it's really weird that somehow we've landed on a beef bench. And that brings us to the fact that now we have 2 clues that have been provided. I sent all the pictures that 1010 wanted. I'm not going to drive you crazy with like, I sent this and I sent that. Basically, we've gotten 2 clues, and now those clues are on my phone. So here's one, and then I close and I go down to the other one. Normally these are in the booklet, and it's something that you hold together, it's tangible, and this is different. And as of right now, don't know if it's good different, but it feels a little bit more bad different because now I've got to play with my phone. Yeah. I didn't know where to go with that.
I'm beginning to think, having seen the first puzzle, we should have done this in Japanese. Because that was embarrassingly easy. Keep in mind, previous times we've done these puzzle games, sometimes we'll get stumped for like an hour trying to figure out how complicated it is. Then it clicks and you're like, oh my god, it's amazing, it's genius.
4 adult brains just stunned for an hour. Like, do you think it? What do you think? Oh, I think this, I don't know. But the puzzle that we got was the word fire and the word work. And it was like combine the words to firework. They're calling that a puzzle where you instructed me to combine 2 words. And they were in order. And we could have gone to the other one first. We had the options. What's a work fire?
It flat out gave us the answers. There was you didn't have to work to get them. And I was like, oh, like we were like, maybe we're gonna have to like use one letter from each word and put them in a certain order. And stuff.
I was like, oh, it
and
must
then
be
I was
an
like,
anagram.
wait, it's just fireworks.
All right, but 1010 is amazed with our intellect. He is like amazing. So we're heading to destination 3 on the map. Here we go.
I don't know. Are we getting bitchy?
Are we going? All right, so we realize that we are being very, very critical, but we have done these puzzles before and they have been crazy good. So at this point, I've been asked to answer a question, but it's just told me to take a picture and send it in the chat. So I don't know what the question is, but I'm gonna take the picture and send it to 1010. While we're here, let's solve the next one. Let's solve the next one too. Like, I just sent a picture. I didn't solve anything. I just took a picture of the thing you told me to take a picture of. This is just a checklist or something.
It's more of a stamp rally than
a photo rally.
Yeah.
Okay. Pay attention to the area above your head. See the street lamp with Japanese-style painting of a lady wearing a kimono, question mark. Do you see it? Once you've found it, send kimono lady in the chat. If I could just send kimono lady in the chat.
Like you can just type that in.
Yeah. But we might as well find her because we've been instructed to do so. Watch your head. So there's a lamp. Oh, there she is. I assume this is who we're talking about. Should I take a picture? Oh, wow. It's just taking pictures all day, dude.
All right, let's just reset our minds. Where are we? We're taking pictures all day.
Taking pictures all day. We will not be using our brains. Gosh. Okay. All right, so what happened is I typed in kimono lady. It has told me some fun history about the lanterns that are up here and that they are exposing bad puns. So on each of the lanterns is a different bad pun, which is kind of cool considering like I like making puns with my friends. Japanese puns are a whole different world, but it's cool to know that's what's written on these lanterns. It says the next thing. Now for the question. And it says, look at the paper lanterns around you and find the one depicted in this image. So I have an image of one of these lanterns and I need to go and find that lantern. So a little bit of a hunt, but we've already been doing that a little bit. Take a picture and send it to 1010. All right, so let's go find this.
I feel like it used to be harder to walk through here with my groceries than it is to do their puzzles here. You know what I mean? Like when you have a grocery store down, we have to come through all these tours and stuff, like trunking through all our groceries, and that was way more difficult than fireworks. But this puzzle, where we had to find the other like lantern or whatever, was literally directly next to the first one.
So yes, I took a picture, sent it to 1010, and now 1010's just sent us another destination to walk to.
All right, let's go.
So we're heading down this street. It's not very far. Sometimes people come in and they say that we're complaining about things, but let me just tell you, we're spitting it real. What the expectations might be about doing something and then what it ends up being. Like, I'm not going to walk around and definitely tell you, oh, this is such a fun event, this is such a fun thing, and just big smile on my face when I'm like, I'm taking another picture, wow. I haven't used my brain all day, which is a darn shame. I mean, it computes slowly and not as well as others, but it should be challenged.
Here's an argument. Let's pretend that you'd never done any of the other ones before. And you didn't have the expectation that we had before of these, like, literally amazing puzzles. How do you feel then?
I still wouldn't feel like any puzzles happened.
Sure, but you wouldn't have had the expectation of puzzles.
Oh, I would, because it said Asakusa puzzle adventure. It says
enough.
Puzzle adventure on it, and no puzzles have happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think I would be like, we're just taking photos all day?
What did it cost? 3,700 yen or something like that?
2,700.
2,700 yen.
So it's about $22.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like outrageously expensive, but previously they were around the same price, and you got a metro pass to go around the city all day,
and
included
puzzles
with it, and there would be like those puzzles and stuff. So it does feel a little odd that they've kind of made it baby mode, I guess is what it feels like.
Yeah, it does feel like I've turned on a video game and it's just on baby mode.
And what sucks is this is not at all what I expected. I thought this was going to be like a challenging like puzzle thing to be filming, and look how cool this puzzle.
It still says there's like 3 to 4 hours, so we have to like.
I was excited to share the genius of the puzzles.
Yes, that's the major reason why we wanted to make the video was to share how cool these puzzles are. So, we've gotten to a stopping point, which is like a destination that 1010 told us to go to. We're gonna figure out what needs to happen here, but I just wanted to share that thought. This is just real talk. It's not just complaining.
A little bit of an excusing of ourselves.
We definitely aren't just gonna blow sunshine when there is none.
A little sunshine. We were outside together.
Yeah, true.
But it's not the sunshine I had anticipated.
All right, we've reached the puzzliest puzzle, and I have to tell you, from the last time we checked in, we have taken various photos in this area, but we've stopped showing all the photos because it just seems like this is getting out of hand with the photos. But here were the instructions for this puzzle. Put your back to this gate, Denboyan Gate. Look at the kimono shop, look up, and find the guy, lots to choose from, that would lose against scissors in a game of rock, paper, scissors. We sent that picture to 1010 and he told us to keep walking.
We've come across what seems to be somewhat of a difficult puzzle where you need to take the stage name of this person and their real name and then somehow something question mark, and then it will give you the opportunity to have an answer that you then feed into 1010 and then he somethings. The problem is that it's very difficult to visualize this because you're doing it on a phone, and instead of like writing something down with a piece of paper and like kind of like, oh no, scratch that out, no, try this and try that, blah blah blah, you're just like flipping back and forth between two things on the phone, and it's not as rewarding as it was. Like they would have similar puzzles to this previously, but you'd have a pencil and a book, and like you would be doing it tactilely.
And we do have a book and we do have a pencil, but this puzzle is not included.
Yeah, we looked to see if it was in there maybe, but it's just, you just have to like write down in your mind like on this JPEG. It's just not the same. For all the clowning we've been doing on these puzzles not being puzzles, they've hit us with a puzzle that I can't tell if it's actually a really difficult puzzle or if we are going down paths that are way more complicated than what the puzzle intends. But we cannot figure out the puzzle with the name. We've been sitting here for a while trying to solve this. And like half of me is like, okay, this is the type of puzzle I expected. But the other half of me is like, the rest of this has been like brain dead easy. Are we looking at this too deeply and it's something really basic and we're not being able to figure it out? But I got some paper out, got the pencil out that they gave us, and I made my own little chart because it's a lot more fun to write on than it is to look at a screen. And I still can't figure it out, so it didn't help. We're kind of stuck at the moment, and I guess that's kind of fun, but it's just like, it's a weird gear shift, you know what I mean? Like we were like in this stage where it's just like, okay, take a picture, move on, and now it's like, oh, this has become impossible.
In solving the puzzle, you needed to take the comedian's stage name and their real name. So the stage name was Sumi Tamagawa. The real name was Sumi Nakagawa. When you take the stage name and the real name and you stack them on top of each other, you have Sumi Tamagawa and Sumi Nakagawa. You're going to cancel out the letters that are not the same. So the T and the N and the M and the K, goodbye. You're going to squish that together. You get Sumi Agawa. That's nothing. If you take the A in the middle and turn it to a D like the puzzle says that you should, then you have Sumidagawa. Sumidagawa is 1010's favorite 5-letter word, river. Holy crap.
So river was the answer?
River was the answer, correct. Next, look for a sign without any people, take a photo of it, and send it. We're back to photos.
As we're going along, they're talking about lots of little shops here and like things to check out, and like this is a historical character from this neighborhood, blah blah blah. But they're not pointing out that this building back here is the place where you can eat whale meat. I'm noticing that gets omitted. This doesn't have any English on it either. In a neighborhood where there's lots of tourists, the place is probably kind of trying to stay underneath the radar a little bit because I don't think they want people getting angry at them. I do have to say it's kind of cool that they are showing us these performers in the street and kind of explaining little tidbits about them. I'm kind of enjoying like learning a little bit about the people, and like the fact that they had one area that was like, this is for like a dude that hasn't died yet, but when he dies he wants to put his name up there, so we've put reserved up on the sign. And then they made like a very basic word puzzle out of that where you had to remove all the words or letters RED out of the word reserved and add over and then figure out what color it is. And it was like 5 seconds. It wasn't difficult, but at least there's some little puzzles, and some of the lore is kind of cool to jump into. So it's not a complete loss here. I think it's picking up a little bit in the quality of the actual game. Have you figured out the next puzzle?
I think I did a few while you were gone.
I was around for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, you shouldn't leave. I'm very having fun. Or, I'm very diligent. That's the word I'm gonna use. So, yeah.
Good thing you got that thing strapped on.
Yeah, well, not so well. We finished going down Comedian Row, which had us taking pictures of individual, not all of the comedians that are up there, but interesting ones where we could play around with their names, and we did a couple of little puzzles. One, which obviously stumped us pretty hard, and then the other ones were pretty short and snappy. But it's brought us over here to Endgame Hall, which is a rakugo traditional storytelling culture of Japan mecca. Comedians come here, they do their stuff. It's a big thing for comedians here in Japan. And the last final thing that it had us do before we're moving on to chapter 2, there's like 5 chapters in this game and we're only on chapter 2. It had us look at 3 individual items and we had to figure out which one was wrong. And you can probably see from the picture that Eric will put up here that the last one was inverted in a way that the bottom kanji, the top of it was just the other direction. So we had to spot that and send that picture to 1010. And now 1010 has said, we're moving on to chapter 2. Chapter 2 is a nice little break where you can read about rakugo on these 2 pages. That's what chapter 2 is. We're now on to chapter 3, where we're gonna take shop hopping, put it into the chatbot. And seriously, the chatbot tells me you only need your smartphone out for this section. What? That's all I used on the last section.
What's all this stuff?
They gave us stuff, but maybe it's a mirage of fun.
I think the final boss is going to be a disaster of impossibility with all
where
these
I gotta
like,
smash
puzzles.
my phone into... Like, they usually have these very intricate folding things that you have to do with the booklets, and it's really, really cool, but we're not seeing that here. I'm definitely using my phone more than I want to. I'm at 65% battery. Oh yeah, we got games on games. Found me a Koban. That gets me up to 228.
You got to be somewhat deep into the Katie and Eric cinematic universe to understand like a Koban. I'm gonna check a phone and then just move on with no other explanation.
Do you want me to explain, or
No.
should we just leave it in the cinematic universe?
They can watch one of the recent videos where we talk about Japanese police boxes. That's fine.
Eric, it said I only needed to use my smartphone. You were mouthing smartphone because you don't want me to say fart phone again. But now we have to use your phone as well because I've just been given a map, and that's fine. I got us to the location that we want to be, but I am not able to confirm that we're at the places. Like, what's right here says that this should be a place for sampling food, but it is closed. And then further down that closed shack right here, that's supposed to be somewhere that sells sweet potatoes. But I'm not able to triangulate and function because they're both closed.
Skytree.
Oh, Skytree. We had another spot the difference game. We were given 3 images and we had to figure out which one has a problem. And it's this Su in Japanese here, but it's not the Su character. It is the little circle next to it, which says registered trademark. The one in the picture had a T as opposed to an R. So we spotted that difference, told 1010 what's up, and now he's given us more instructions.
We got a snack because it's snack time, and one of the snacks that we found is melon pan, which is not made of melon, it just looks like melon, with cookies and cream ice cream jammed on the inside. 700 yen, and I'm gonna eat it before it melts. I don't know if I've ever had one of these. Melon pan is like pretty common. Typically it's like a sweet bread, like a cookie type thing on the outside. It makes it a little bit crunchy. I don't think I've ever had one with ice cream in it. It worked really well. Like the crunchy sweet bread is like a good container for the ice cream, and it kind of reminds me of when we were in Bangkok years ago. They would put like hoagies. It's like hoagie sandwiches. They put ice cream in the hoagie sandwich.
You ever had ice cream on a hoagie? I'm gonna make this every time we have ice cream.
This is an advancement on that, I would say, just because of the crunchiness and like it's got crunchy sugar on the top and stuff. It's a good texture. But other than that, I mean, it's bread with ice cream in it. You can probably imagine. Do you think that the ice cream is an advancement on this, or would you think it would be better just having the bread like on its own? Does the ice cream sogginess kind of detract from the breadness?
Hold on. What would you add ice cream to and it would make it not better?
Maybe melon pan. So I'm talking about.
No, there's a slim number of things that you would add ice cream to and your enjoyment would lessen because of that.
Okay, so you're saying.
I love the fact that it sogs everything up. I'm a huge fan of melted ice cream affecting everything.
Noted. You have yakisoba, ice cream, bam.
No problem.
Sushi, ice cream, bam. Pizza?
Oh yeah. Is it a sweet pizza? Wow.
It is now. We're coming to the next location, and the trick is to find a store that has got these two deities on the sign. And then there is supposedly supposed to be a noren, which is like a flag they put out when they're open, that then you use the symbols on the noren to turn that into the answers of a puzzle. But this place closed at 3 o'clock for training today, so they've taken them down, taken them inside, so you can't solve the puzzle. But I think we can do a different puzzle someplace else to get to the same point, so it's not like a disaster. But the puzzle system says that you can do this anytime, but apparently you can't. Because they're not there. We're not the only people that are doing this puzzle in stock. A couple of Japanese people who had a camera with a poofball microphone the way we do, I think they're filming a video as well, were also like, we can't progress. So they called the staff at the place, and I couldn't hear the other end of the conversation, but she was like, we're here, we're at this place, they're closed, the noren is out, what do we do? And I didn't hear the answer. It doesn't matter because like Katie thinks we can just go to someplace else and do a different answer. But if we get there and that one has some sort of problem, then we might be in trouble. We're making phone calls.
We did some photos, we did some puzzles. Now, spot the difference seems to be the heavy action that's taking place. Behind me, you can see this sweets shop, and it has one of these classic little ropes going along it, and it has 5 taluses, 2 on the edges and 3 in the middle. The picture that we were given, we had to spot the differences. In the picture, the 3 taluses in the middle have been removed, and the talus on the right has been turned to red. And we needed to figure out that we had to write the answer, read or read, you could say it both ways, into the chatbot with 1010. Oh my god, we're still using a chatbot. What's the longest anyone's ever used a chatbot? I mean, like, 4 hours is a pretty strong relationship. I'm thinking we might get married. I go side to side. Does it take all of it? Oh my god, it's terrible. Somebody needs to lube this swing. Okay, so we've been guided to Sumida Park, which it's a pretty nice, it's got really nice playground equipment. It's pretty fun. And they drug us over to the whale here, and kids were going down the slide. We used to come over here and do little walks and whatnot, and it's just overall nice walking park. And it took us into the game kit, so we finally got to go back in there. We read a little bit about haikus and senryu. And senryu is different from a haiku. Same structure, 5-7-5 on syllables, and it's a poem. Senryu is more about like a slice of life with a bit of comedy to it. So I don't necessarily know if what I read is one of those things, but we've been instructed to read the goldfish haiku. And
Senryu.
it says, dang it, senryu. And it says, where one sits and sways, what you look for lies where the huge whale gazes. And he was looking at the swings. So we typed in swings and we have gotten it right. And I think we're going to be taken around this park. Senryu by Senryu. And so it says the next one, read the poem below the tori. So let's find the tori, that's a sun. Oh, maybe they're on the back too. Tori, here we go. Where the ground is sand, every park in Japan, next to it sits a large ship painted in red. And I think that's right over there. Got a little bit going on here. I've got messages from 1010 that say, find something that applies to this poem. The poem says, where the ground is sand, next to it sits a large ship painted in red. We've come over to the ship. So I'm just sitting here like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not really sure. I go back to the chat. It really felt like I was just supposed to go to this poem and do nothing else, but I go back to the chat. In the chat, it has told me which poem to go to. So it's jarring a little bit. It says, when you found the black symbol on the object in the poem, send the word to 1010.
Oh,
so
so
I've had to kind of go back and forth between the things, and it felt really unnatural.
anchor.
Ah, anchor. That's correct. You may have thought to look for a real boat. I did. Look for the Tully's Coffee. You can see from where you are. Go up the stairs next to it, and you should be able to see the towering Tokyo sky tree right in front of you. Let's go see it. Once we've come to this spot, it is suggesting in the chat that we do one of these photos where you put your finger at the top and make it look like you're holding on to it. And then you need to send that to 1010. If I can find 1010. Okay, here we go. A fantastic shot. Now for the next poem. Just an aside. Like, go over there and take a picture. It says, make a Fuji, then read the Senju poem below it.
Now you have to fold that thing so it like makes the shape of a Fuji.
So now we're gonna get into the shit that we really like. And I'm thinking about going over to the Tully's and having a coffee. What do you think?
Whatever you want to do, dude. This feels like a puzzle.
Oh, it's a puzzle.
We've read a little poetry slip and it said you need to make a Fuji, and inside of this place it said you can see there's a bunch of different simple shapes like an eggplant and half a Fuji. And then once you make a Fuji, you read the poem. And these historically in the other games have been complex. Like, you're really doing some crazy origami to make things work. This one is just take this half of Fuji here and fold it over, and now you have a poem. And the poem is, along the river, many of the number 8 lined up in a row. So that's your clue. And then you look back at the bot, and the bot tells you that you need to walk a specific direction along the river and then write the color of the thing that makes sense with the poem. So we're probably going to be looking for like a collection of 8 things that are all the same color, and then tell it the color, and then it's going to tell us, take a picture of something and then find a difference, and then do another simple folding puzzle.
These are puzzles done by a company called Scrap. That's who we like. We like Scrap. Scrap's fun. Scrap challenges you and aggravates you, but then when you figure it out, it's like the best thing in your life. But right now, I really feel like Scrap made a daisy of a fucking game. I don't know. It's just like, really? This is not the Princess Peach of these games. Like,
Princess Peach, man. You're talking about Birdo's, the hardcore princess.
I know, and I'm talking like, so like you got it. We are a Daisy, and then there's Princess Peach, and then there's Birdo, and we are far from Birdo. Do you remember when this was the action?
It is quite basic.
Daisy be basic.
It is basic.
So I really thought that it was going to be a group of 8 things. So like 8 things together that are all the same color, but it's not. It looks like they actually have the number 8 on them.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I saw. No, it is 8 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Got it!
Okay.
Yeah, we typed in brown and now we're following some more instructions. That felt good. 1010 tells us that with our Senju booklet, we need to make a katana sword and read the Senju that it makes. Also, before I leave this, the instructions are, when you've figured out the object in the poem, send the word to 1010. A tube made of steel passing under a row of gigantic arches. What do you think it is?
Type in choo-choo, baby.
Oh, choo-choo! Oh, that's right. Train.
You know it's correct when it dumps out like 10 pages of text for you.
Yeah. Something made us laugh pretty hard. And that's because we were reading the instructions and it was talking about the golden turd. We all know it as the golden turd or the golden poo or whatever. And it's a thing, as we foreigners say, it's supposed to look like a flame. But even in this instruction manual, they said it's supposed to look like a flame. And then they just moved on. Like they didn't say anything more. They were just like, it's supposed to look like a flame, but it doesn't. Totally doesn't. And we've all made a big joke out of it. It's brought us over to this three-legged weird white sculpture thing. I've been told that I need to make a sake. And I made the sake. It's going to get poured into the cup. And a guide at dark times, a place that is lit up by 5 boxes of lights. And I'm supposed to be messaging to them when I found the object in the poem, the total number of those objects. And I'm kind of seeing these things in the background here. They look like lights, but we need to go investigate further. It didn't turn out to be the 3 things that I thought it was. It turned out to be 2 lampposts that are happening. Each of the lampposts has 5 lamps at the top. It is a lamppost. And at the bottom it talks about the downtown spirit
So you typed
of Asakusa.
You typed in 2?
I typed in IC2. That's what it told me to type in.
Oh, you had to like type in a sentence?
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting advanced.
And the next thing, it says, make a star and see what the arrows point to in order. The answer is a 9-letter word. I have a slip and a chat bot. And a slip. I cannot fold the chat bot. So I need to make a star. And I don't really understand out of what. I got an eggplant and a leaf and a star. I got a sun. I don't blow sunshine, I tell it like it is, and credit where credit is due. This little puzzle was fun. So on the image it showed a star, and we're told that we're only supposed to be working with this piece of paper. Where the number 2 indicated, Eric realized that there was like a gold side and a green side. So he started like focusing on that and what to do with it. And then I started realizing that you could make a star from this. We put together that what it's pointing to is a sun and a flower. And the answer was sunflower. And that was pretty cool. We have finished chapter 4, and that leads us on to chapter 5. I actually want to check the time right now. I'm curious like how it's 5:50. It said it would take about 3 to 4 hours. We started at 12:50. That's about 5 hours. We are slow as F, bro. But we do stop and like make videos. Like right now we are not progressing. We are just standing here making a video. So that does play a factor in it. I give that a full 4 hours. We're really smart. So we're chapter 5, and it has instructed us that we're basically going to be following this thing. We'll figure that out as we go.
Find a thing, read the instructions on it, get to the next thing, find the next thing.
Yeah. I'm very accustomed to it now. So first head to the circle frame, which this little cute guy, we know where he lives.
He's right there. Got it.
This is another one that we know. We've gone down these stairs many times. And this guy is just a little weird.
I want you to pretend that you have never been here before and you're like a tourist and you haven't ever had the chance to poke around Asakusa before or explore. And you're doing this game. And all of a sudden it's drugged you down into this little tiny like underground bunker that is super classic, and everybody that lives here knows what this is, but you aren't from here. But you've done this game and all of a sudden you have discovered this little hall that is really cool to have discovered. There's value in that we don't get because we already understand a lot of these little things. Mm-hmm. But as a way to just kind of drive you around and have you check things out, I think that the game has value in that sense. It's just it's not for us. It's not tailored to us. It's tailored to people that don't already know the neighborhood.
True. And I definitely think it's taking you on a tour that is exposing the main stops and some little hidden gems. So the goal that they have, they're doing it. I don't disagree with that.
I'm just saying, like, there is like trying to look at it just from a different perspective as well.
But I'm trying to find this puppy right now, and you are really distracting me from this puppy. And you should stop that.
Is he down here?
It said, and look for a 3-digit number close to the ceiling. Okay. Continue to your right and look for a 3-digit number close to the ceiling. We gotta go back. Where's the puppy? Eric, I have disappointing news. This little, what is this?
He's a mole.
Whack-a-mole. This little whack-a-mole, he has led us not to the puppy, but to the 607. There's a 607 right over there. I don't know if we're gonna find this puppy. Who's gonna find this puppy? But the 607 has us going in a different direction. I don't know where the puppy is. I'm worried about him. Hey, you found a different dog, but we did find that puppy.
Oh shit!
He's good to go, and he's just helping us along our way. I'd say he's fine. He lives in this terrible smelling tunnel under the ground. It's really, really nasty smelling down here. Like, it's a slice of life down here for sure, but your nose will be offended the entire time you're in here.
Gotta miss this puddle of gross.
The smell's coming through those cracks.
Yeah, it's sewage, dude. Natsukashi.
Oh, I found that drunk pig.
After a couple of like, go here and find that thing, we're now searching for a drunk pig. You already found him?
Yeah, I think that's him.
Oh, that pig looks drunk.
Oh yeah, that's it. Okay, and then it must match one of these pictures, so we have to figure out which one, because it's not the drunk pig. Ah, this is the same kanji janai hongo, but I don't actually see the white one. There's green and yellow. The goal of all these pictures was to follow the instructions, find the next photo, follow those instructions, and find the next photo, until you get to one of the 3 conclusions at the bottom. The conclusion that we got to was this lantern just in front of Sensoji. And it told us to follow the gaze of the only photo you didn't visit. We checkmarked all the ones that we visited except for this one. And it says follow the gaze. We sat there thinking about that for a while. You got this little guy. He's just chilling. We sat there and thought about it and thought about it. Was it spa? It's not spa. It turned out to be P-R-O. Not 0, but O. And that was pro. So we put that in. We thought that chapter 5 was the last chapter. We thought this was the last puzzle. We were wrong because there's a whole nother chapter. Wow, that's a big fly. So there's a whole nother chapter to go through. It is saying for that chapter, which is on the chatbot, I'm no longer calling him Tenten. In one photo, somewhere in your guidebook, so I assume within this, there's an object where the wind points to. Take a photo of that object in real life. So now we have some sort of puzzle that we need to go through all the pages in this booklet and sort out what we need to take a photo of. Here we go. We're nearing the end of the Asakusa puzzle adventure. Chapter 6. That's actually a really iconic sound of Asakusa. Those these people shaking the omikuji sticks. Very cool. So I like that sound is happening right now. And we have solved the first start of the chapter 6 puzzles. So I'm going to show you how we did that. It said that there is a photo inside of this guidebook that the wind is pointing to an object. So we looked around. When we were learning about Rakugo, there were 5 items that we needed to know about. At this time, I did not read this information because chapter 2 was take a break, and I did not read this. Chapter 2 is a 5-minute break to learn about Rakugo. It is these 2 pages and some suggestions for where you can go and have fun here in Asakusa doing cultural experiences. Now we're on to chapter 3. But Eric actually did see this, and the fan represents wind. So we started thinking about that, and we started looking for pictures, and we found this girl. And she's pointing to something, and I immediately was like, what's this white thing? But it's actually what's off camera, which is this waraji, this giant Japanese sandal. And once you send this picture to Tenten, he tells you something very interesting, which is that the rest of the puzzle for the Asakusa puzzle adventure does not need to be solved in Asakusa. I find that very weird. So we're gonna go and find a place just to chill out, probably in Asakusa, because we're here. Why would we leave until we've finished the puzzle? But you could finish it at home if you wanted to, so Tenten says. I'm hungry, so we are going to find some food. Oh, you're still here? That's good. I feel like this has been me like, oh, let me tell you about this, let me tell you about this.
That final piece would be, I think, quite difficult if you didn't have familiarity with the area. I knew exactly what she was pointing at. Like, I think you could figure out, like, okay, I'm going to figure out the puzzle part, but figuring out where the location was. Like, I just knew because I knew what the back of this thing looked like, and you can kind of see the pagoda in the picture as well. I just knew where it was. But if you didn't know that, that could have been kind of difficult to have triangulated and figured out. But, like, again, I think we're coming at this maybe from not the intended audience.
Yes, but the intended audience would have struggled.
The intended, but I think in a good way. It would have made them walk around and look around
like,
and where is it? Like, does this match up?
At that? Oh, okay, could be that.
So I think that the problem is that some of the puzzles are a little bit difficult, but like some of them we're just solving because we just know what they are, you know, and it's making the rest of it just feel a bit like not a chore, but just like go and take a picture and move on. Because the things that are supposed to be a little bit challenging are not that hard for us, just because we lived here.
Big history on you.
Yeah, I'm a big Asakusa geography buff.
Yes, actually you are. We were heading towards Sumida Park, and I was like, well, I'm just not even going to use the map because Eric will correct me on if I make a wrong turn, so I wasn't worried at all.
I used to walk around a lot, man.
Yeah, you did. We wanted to bring this full circle, take us into Kamiyaba, get some denki bran, have dinner, but it turns out that they close at 7:30, and it is round about 7:15 now, so we've come in just for a spot of the juice, and then we're going to go and find another place that we can actually relax and puzzle.
So denki bran is like their local juice that they make here. It's like a strong alcohol.
I love the smell. It smells sweet and exciting.
I have the old version,
and
you have just the standard. And this was 100 yen more, and it has less liquid.
You got the good stuff.
To Asakusa.
To Asakusa. I've had many, many lovely memories here. This will be included in it. I do think that it has been a fun way to look at things. And I kind of like the frustration of photos. Really, we're doing photos. More. Oh, we should have crossed arms. Ooh. Yeah, that's got a
really
bite.
Strong.
It is burning my stomach.
I don't know how to, I'm not like intelligent enough about alcohol to explain what it is that this is. But it almost has got like, is there ginseng or something in it?
Oh
like,
yeah,
do you know
like
something like that? There's some sort of like.
What a good job.
Medicinal Chinese type of thing
going on. Yours is super medicinal. Mine feels a little more
burny and alcoholic.
Towards the alcoholness and less towards the medicine road.
I think I like this one better.
Yeah, even the ginseng.
Yeah.
I feel like I should have more in my stomach before this happens.
But we were kind of hoping that we were going to be able to eat, but like Katie said, they're closing soon, so we're not having the opportunity.
Like choosing what kind of shrimp I was going to eat, and now I am going to have no shrimp.
But we're going to be wrecked on alcohol just from this little amount. Well, I am, anyways. And then we're going to go.
McDonald's, get the Jurassic Burger.
We could go. We had.
It's got shrimp.
Does the Jurassic Burger have shrimp, not dinos?
Jurassic World is changing. Things are getting weird there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go find some place where we're gonna be allowed to sit down for a while and work on this little puzzle.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the thing that we came here for, hoping, the bar will be open until 10 p.m. or something, but they close at 7:30. So, anyways, once this is done, we got to get out of here. And I already feel like I'm being looked at. Like it's kind of a weird vibe in here. It feels like a family restaurant, sort of.
Yes, it
like
has a very sterile vibe in a way, but kind of like a very family Western restaurant. And it feels like they're almost coached a little more to be direct with you, to keep eye contact, to treat you in the way that Westerners would. When I went to the bathroom, people were looking at me and smiling and stuff instead of just letting me
Yeah,
run on my own.
Yeah,
so,
that's how you usually
yeah.
get treated in Japan. So it is kind of odd, like standing against the wall looking at us and stuff. It's a weird vibe. It is 7:30 and we're getting kicked out politely. And I am drunk, really drunk. Just about a little alcohol. I'm a lightweight. So, darling.
Street dog, if you think you are drunk, we should go to Denny's. I think Denny's can handle you better than other restaurants.
Oh, it's
you're,
okay.
You're trudging forward with the new restaurant situation.
We've got puzzles to solve, dude.
We've got puzzles to solve, and we need to put more puzzles on top of those puzzles.
Does Denny's have alcohol?
It does, yes.
We've come over to a restaurant that's in a mall that actually has better vibe than the place that's like the oldest bar in Japan or whatever. We're in a mall, but they have similar food. And I've gotten a omuraisu with some fried shrimp on it, and Katie got a pretty good looking salad. Omuraisu is a omelet on top of rice with various different sauces. This looks like, I'm assuming, like a demi-glaze. And sometimes there'll be cheese or chicken or something inside, depends on the place. This one looks like there's some green stuff, so maybe like pimen, little onions, or not onions, pimen is like peppers. The dark sauce is pretty dark. I don't tend to vibe on that. Usually I get my omurice with ketchup because I'm like the whitest person on the planet and ketchup is amazing. But it's fun to try it a little bit different sometimes, and I'm drunk, so like it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Gonna give you a fried shrimp. How good. Tartar sauce. The difficulty of the puzzles has skyrocketed, and I don't think it's just because I'm drunk. We started off the day being like, this is really easy and boring, and it's not like challenging us in the way that we had hoped that there would be a challenge. And it was fine, but it was just like not what we're used to. We're used to like actually using your brain and stuff. And then you get to the last stage, and oh my god, it's like the difficulty curve is like just a straight up hill. Just like straight up a mountain. And the tricky part about this is they haven't really trained you how that their puzzles and stuff work, because it's just like, oh, take a picture and what is this, like a super simple puzzle, blah blah blah, and then you just get thrown into the fire. And to demonstrate that, Katie is going to explain the first stage of the final bit of the final chapter that we're working on.
I definitely call it the first puzzle of the final chapter, where we're really being confronted with, holy crap, that's what you wanted? Okay. So, we got this hint, and the hint says, make one side of the waraji after the zabuton and read the line below it. That's all the hint you got. So you needed to start playing around with things. And what you need to see is that this waraji right here is different than all the other waraji. It comes after the zabuton. It is rounded, not square. So this is very important. But throw that away. You're not using the guidebook anymore. You need to roll over to your Sumida poetry slip.
But to be clear, there's no instructions. You just got to figure this out.
You just have to figure out that these symbols, which is a circle here, and then insight here, that they will line up together. Like so. And it says, a wish inside one eye. When you make the wish come true, your answer will appear. You need to step back into the guidebook. Oh my god. And then here, you head to where it talked about the Daruma. The Daruma has a single eye. When you make your first wish, you circle in the eye. You color in the eye. Once the wish comes true, you'll circle and color in the second eye. And it revealed a 3-letter word of art. And then you put that into your 1010 chatbot. And it tells you the rest of your evening is fucked. You're gonna be puzzling for the rest of your life. Just give up on everything because you still have 2 puzzles to go. And if you wanna go home, you need to get on a train. So at this point, we have decided you can do this anywhere that we want to, as we found out. So we are heading home. It is now almost 9:30? No, it's 9 o'clock. And we have been doing the puzzle since around about 1 o'clock. So that's 8 hours spent on this. And we're gonna let our brains have a rest, or maybe our bodies. I feel like my brain wasn't overly challenged. I feel like it was just a lot of sun and a lot of walking around. I feel like maybe we could have hit into the puzzles quicker and less photographs.
This puzzle was such a clusterfuck. I'm no longer drunk.
Oh, but dinner was good.
We said we were gonna go home, but then we came out here and we kind of just started working on the next puzzle, and it was also difficult, but maybe a little less difficult than the other one was. Just because there was a little bit more, I don't know, concreteness to like what they were giving you information about. So a lot of it was phone based, which was a change from what we've been doing with the other ones. And it starts with this puzzle here that is telling you to look for a specific circle with specific colors on it. And we looked around at our books and our pexels and our poems and all this stuff for a while. We didn't find it, but eventually we realized that the logo around 1010, it's got that exact thing. And it says to press him 1 time. So we pressed him 1 time and it gave us the shape of stage 2 inside of that, which is now, I've lost. Where did it go? Oh God. Okay, here we go. So you see it's got this shape of squares. So when you push his face, then you've got that shape of squares that tells you to start here. So you go through a series of clicking these and solving these little things, press between the cranes, and you find the cranes and press between the cranes, and then you go to these other ones. And you go through like a series of jumps that eventually pushes you back into your guidebook. And you're doing a bunch of folding that you're gonna have to do. They want you to make a pencil. Found this little triangle, and then you fold this over and it makes a pencil. And then you folded this and you're trying to find a 1010, like a small 1010 is what they're saying, and that's confusing because like you're looking for the character 1010, but what they're doing is they're driving you to fold over a 10 that's down here in the corner that's like part of the phone number or something, with a 10 on another page, like the page 10. You bring that over like this to make a 1010. That's got 3 arrows pointing at 3 letters, and the letters are S-U-N. That's the answer. It's just like chaos. And we actually have to catch a train at 10. So we need to start going now. We're not gonna be able to solve the last bit of the puzzle. We'll work on it another time, and we'll come back and we'll explain how that bit works. And that'll happen quickly for you, but for us it'll be a day or 2. So it's been a long day. I'm wiped out. I think Kyde is wiped out, and we have like an hour and a half to get home from here.
This shit's slightly addictive. You just want to get to the end, and you will ruin all of your study time for that, and you will get home late for that, and probably not sleep enough for what you're supposed to for the entire week. This is my life. But you have to, you must get to the end. You want to get to the end. And so we have. For the final thing, which was pretty cool. 1010 on the app tells you that you need to make a large and small go in. And then that brings you to using the kit, which I always think that's so cool because you slide this in. If I can. You slide this in and you circle up the large go in and the small go in.
Which are 5 yen coins for those who may not be aware.
But it did not explain that at all in the information. So this is one of those things, like other things said like a cushion and a zabuton is a cushion or other thins. Go in was never explained. Then you will see upper, medium, and lower. These are Japanese kanji. You don't necessarily need to know their meaning. And then the number 786. We typed in 786 and it told me, get out of here. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. So then we went through the booklet and we found corresponding sections to each of the kanji. And on this page, it was talking to you about senryu. And senryu was talking about syllables. So we started thinking, oh, well, maybe you need 7 syllables here, 8 syllables here, and 6 syllables here. And yes, you do. I won't go through what all of the little phrases were, but what it wants you to do in the end is it wants you to fold along these train lines. And once you do that, you have made a little bit of, and I'm going to hand this back to Eric, Kaminarimon. Push that into here. And it creates the picture. It asks you to take a picture of this and send it to 1010. And then 1010's just like, well, that's great. You made that picture. Mofo, I made this picture. And he was like, that's great. It's just not wonderful. You should know the 4-letter word. Bro, I made a building. And Eric just blurted out the word done. He hadn't thought about anything. We put some other words in that we thought like maybe 9 o'clock is one of them and 9's the answer, but that was not it. It turned out that done was correct, even though he doesn't know where he got it from. Here, and it is epically hard to tell, there are like bumped up letters here. There's a D, an O, an N, and an E. Barely even visible. I think Eric was just done. And if at any point during the day we had typed done into that chat box, we would have won. That's what it had you do. What's interesting is Eric and I both, we played around with this sheet. I had already figured out the 786 situation, and he had already done the folding prior to getting to these steps. And then just blurting out done. Finished everything. It got finished. It's kind of unbelievable that it did get finished. I will sleep well tonight knowing that this will not be rattling around in my brain. I have to say that overall, this is probably my least favorite of all of the scrap games that I've ever played, but they did advertise the Yokohama game, and I'm thinking about going and doing it someday. They're fun. And hopefully it won't be as like heavy on the front end with just nonsense. Like take a photo, take a photo, take a photo, take a photo. I feel like this handheld us for a very long time. And
then punched us in the nuts.
Yeah, and then we got punched in the nuts while we were trying to enjoy our omurice. So a fun day, intense at the end, but finished. So, I'm not gonna start like that, not allowed to start like that. So if you get like extra pickles, are they charging you like 1,500 yen? Because like the burger costs like 200 yen. What? You gotta get a crepe when you're out in this place.
Crepe? That's Harajuku stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what it, never mind. How's my hair look? I feel like it's just like really crazy. Oh, that went from real good to...
Is that a gray hair?
Yeah. I got like 3. Cultivating them.
Protein?
A little bit. I'm not ready yet.
If you're enjoying our videos and want to help us make more and get some cool perks, check out our Patreon, linked below.
Anywho,